July 2, 2025. Despite warnings from Washington, Russia unleashes more than 50 heavy missiles in under 30 minutes, shadowed by a steel avalanche of 24 T-90M, 18 T-80 BVM, and Terminator support vehicles driving into eastern Ukraine. The ground shudders under roughly 90 blasts. In just 6 remorseless hours, Ukrainian positions are mauled. From above, Lancet drones plunge at over 100 miles per hour, hunting artillery like guided wolves. Then, the unexpected. The advance stalls. 9 T-90Ms erupt, 7 Terminators are shredded by drones, 15 BMPs are abandoned in panic, and nearly 300 Russian soldiers are killed or wounded on fields they expected to seize. What turned this iron spear into a smoking wreckage yard? What unseen hand made Moscow's biggest push since 2022 a lesson written in steel and fire? 4:17 a.m. local time. Around Kurakov and Donetsk, Russian missiles rip the dawn apart. With no further diplomatic hesitation, the Kremlin releases a rolling barrage. Tornado-S launchers, each capable of sowing dense submunitions with warheads near 800 pounds, fire salvo after salvo. In the first 30 minutes alone, more than 50 heavy missiles crash into trenches, command posts, and supply hubs. Bunkers split, fuel convoys burn. Overhead, Lancet 3, loitering munitions hammer Ukrainian radar. M777 guns and 2 counter-battery radars go silent within minutes. Orlan 10 recon drones map every movement and beam target data straight into Russian fire control. Then, the armor wave. 57 combat vehicles, 24 T-90M, 18 T-80 BVM, and 6 Terminator support vehicles roll south. Infantry carriers packed with assault teams follow tight behind, ready to pour through the gaps. T-90M thermal sights comb the smoking hedgerows for fleeing defenders. By sunrise, spearheads have already gnawed through multiple defensive belts. Losses for Ukraine are immediate and brutal. Over 30 killed and around 90 wounded, many dragged from burning dugouts still glowing with traces of phosphorus. Drone footage shows at least 9 destroyed armored vehicles, including 4 Leopard 2A6 tanks caught during refueling, and 5 damaged APCs beneath toppled trees. Grain silos and farm depots stand as blackened frames, smoke pillars clawing into the summer sky. Cluster strikes knock out substations. Tens of thousands in Donetsk region lose power while civilian convoys clog narrow roads to the west. In under 6 hours, Russia inflicts more damage on Kurov's line than in any attack since 2022. A calculated bet on shock and sheer mass before the West can hit back. What the Kremlin didn't price in, something deadlier waiting just beyond the horizon. 9:42 a.m. U.S. satellites in high orbit pin Russian command trucks and ammo dumps. Minutes later, coordinates flow to forward HIMARS batteries less than 22 miles behind the Ukrainian front. The launchers carry fresh ATACMS Block 2A. Each warhead scatters roughly 300 submunitions across football field-sized kill zones. When the first rockets roar, the ground seems to tense. The missiles skim in at Mach 3, pop up, and burst over a cluster of Tornado-S reload vehicles. Steel rain everywhere. In a single strike, over a dozen trucks and fuel bowsers bloom into fireballs. Secondary blasts rattle windows for minutes. Farther east, Ukraine fields US-supplied Switchblade 600s, tandem-charged loitering munitions built to pierce modern reactive armor. Flown from concealed bunkers, they dive with surgical precision onto T-90M turret roofs. Live feeds catch the eerie stillness before impact. A slight twitch of the fins, a flash, a column of black smoke. By 10:30 a.m., momentum is gone. Forward observers count at least 8 tanks knocked out in 45 minutes, many still smoldering on the very roads they tried to hold. HIMARS shifts to Russian bridging gear near the Vovcha River, cratering the banks and drowning multiple BMPs mid-crossing. Meanwhile, ANTPQ-50 counter-battery radars trace arcs of Russian 152mm shells and backsolve their launch points. Ukrainian M777s and French Caesars answer with GPS-guided rounds, less than 90 seconds from detection to impact, erasing at least 2 full batteries by early afternoon. Intercepts sketch panic on Russian nets, commanders yelling about fuel trucks that never showed, about tanks stuck in minefields with engines on fire. Through it all, a US orbital and signals intel pipeline keeps feeding Ukraine a live, moving map, an invisible hand behind every counterpunch. As the echoes of HIMARS fade over Kurakov, Ukraine kicks off the next phase. an armored counterthrust to snap what's left of the spearhead. Not reckless, choreographed. NATO armor, cutting-edge sensors, and old-school infantry grit in lockstep. Leopard 2A6 lead. German-made beasts with 120mm smoothbores that can punch nearly 800mm of RHA at 2 miles. They advance deliberately, holding outside suspected kill zones, scanning for muzzle flashes in smoky tree lines. On the flanks, Swedish CV-90s carry squads with javelins and NLAWs. They glide up to burnt-out farmsteads, unload and dig in with portable AT systems covering every hedge and crossroad. 11:52 a.m. A Russian BMPT Terminator bristling with autocannons and ATGMs slews its turret toward a pair of CV-90s. Seconds before it can fire, a javelin arcs down from a collapsed silo. The top attack strike blows the turret wide, flames blasting skyward. The Leopards speak next. Their 120s hit at over 1,700 meters per second, turning T-80s into twisted shells in seconds. Gunners pair millimeter-wave radar cues with laser rangefinders, laying in shot after shot. Reactive armor tears open like paper. Observers report at least 5 Russian tanks destroyed in the first 20 minutes, with ammo cooks pitching turrets meters from their hulls. Behind them, HIMARS pivots to GMLRS cluster. Hundreds of bomblets drench armored reserves regrouping along a dirt highway east of town. Drone feeds show vehicles swerving off-road, some burying themselves in ditches to escape the invisible storm. By early afternoon, ground north of Kurakov is strewn with smoking hulks. The attack hasn't only halted, it's collapsing into a bloody retreat under interlocking fires from Ukrainian and Western kit. Every kill coordinated through live drone feeds and encrypted links. This is 21st century mech warfare in full. Then comes the blow you can't see: electronic warfare. High above the haze, US EC-37B Compass Call orbits, flooding the battle space with jamming. Russian comms go dark. Tank commanders hear static. Even prized Orlan 10s drift off course. On the ground, Ukrainian ATACMS radars tie straight into satellite cues. When Mi-28 Havocs and Ka-52 Alligators skim low to flank the lines, they light up instantly. Seconds later, AM-120 MRAMs carve through rotor discs. Burning debris spirals into treetops. Closer in, RQ-20 Pumas hover quietly over ridgelines, spotting heat blooms from idling engines. Coordinates flash to Javelin NLAW teams. Within 3 minutes, missiles streak out, white plumes, black columns. 5 p.m. Russia's assault force is fragmented and blind. Field notes suggest over half of the remaining crews have killed their engines, hiding inside metal coffins with no situational awareness, waiting for orders that won't come. Not brute mass, but data rules the day. At first light, the field looks like an armor graveyard. T-90Ms lie with hatches blown, interiors charred. Recovery teams count at least 9 destroyed T-90M, 6 T-80 BVM, 7 BMPT Terminators, and over 15 BMPs. Plus heaps of rifles and gear ditched in panic. Russian casualties, up to 300 killed or wounded in under 48 hours. Drone video shows entire columns backed into craters, engines dead, crews hiding from prowling switchblades. And the numbers only tell part of it. The psychological hit is deep. Families in Voronezh, Belgorod, Rostov demand to know why so many sons didn't return. Why Moscow's armored spearheads were shredded by a smaller but networked force. Even loyalist media can't fully smother leaked wreckage clips and intercepted chaos-filled radio calls. The message is blunt. Today, wars aren't won by who has the most tanks, but by who sees first, thinks faster, and coordinates best. With satellites, counter-battery radars, precision missiles, and drone swarms, Ukraine turned Russia's biggest offensive in months into a cautionary tale. Ignore the new rules at your own peril. When the dust settles over Kurakov, one verdict remains. Nearly 60 modern vehicles and a brutal opening barrage end as twisted metal across Ukrainian fields. Raw tonnage wasn't enough. In under 48 hours, ATACMS, Switchblades, advanced radars, and NATO armor flipped a hammer blow into a rout. Beyond the battlefield, shockwaves reach home. Families demand answers, generals scramble, propaganda stumbles over satellite images. Ukraine stands, battered but unbroken. More than a local counterpunch, this was a stark warning to anyone who underestimates the lethal marriage of technology and resolve. Your take. Should the United States deepen its involvement? Yes or no? Drop your view below. If this analysis gripped you, like, subscribe, and share your perspective.